Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today is National Navajo Code Talkers Day. Hi, my name is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman. I'm an intuitive psychic medium here in the Sugar Land area. That's just outside of Houston. I work with my angels and guides to assist my clients in many areas of their lives, to bring them special messages from loved ones who have passed, to dialogue with their angels for guidance into their own situation, or to assist them with their own psychic abilities. If you like my content, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. August 14th is National Navajo Code Talkers Day, and I really think this is a great day to honor the contributions of the Native Americans that they brought to their unique abilities to the United States. I think it's really interesting because their energy was to protect their nation, even though they were always kind of at that point treated as second-class citizens. It's one of those, we still want to step up in this war effort, and we still want to help in a lot of ways. There were actually 29 original code talkers, and I think the program ended and they had way more than that, but it didn't end until 1968. So a lot of people didn't even know about their contribution unless they worked directly with them. And that's kind of the energy that I want to talk to you at today. It's one of those, there should have been a way to honor these people back then in some way and some mannerism, because they kind of gave it all. And a lot of times, like I said, they were treated as second-class citizens. So that energy of that, of kind of like not being honored for who you are or what you bring to other people, a lot of them always kind of walked around with an X on their back, because if they were taken prisoner and they were to expose their language or how to interpret this, it could be something that would devastate us as a country, because like being able to transmit things without the other side knowing what we're doing or where we're going or where we're headed. And so a lot of them literally had an X on their back from the American side. Even though they were on our side, it's one of those, they had an X on their back. And to me, that's always just amazing energy to work through, because a lot of them were raised differently than most average American people, and they were raised to kind of like feel their energy and feel their vibrations of not only themselves but their nature and the other people around them, and then to be in this like very artificial energy impact of, someone is fighting us, and then even our own side is kind of told if something happens and we could get exposed or could be taken prisoner, to go ahead and kill us. That had a lot to do with like so much energy that they were dealing with, and I'm just amazed. I have read several books about them. I have seen a couple of movies about them, but I think it's just amazing that they were able to do this. Native American people have stood up and kind of saved our country in so many different ways, and I will say just one area that they've done this in is the Navajo Code Talkers. The language that they created and taught to so many other people so that they can understand where things need to be, what do we need a backup for, where do we need people to come in and help us with things. That is a really powerful energy that they had to carry on them. So I am very thankful for all of their unique abilities that they brought to the World War II effort and even afterwards. And I do think it's really interesting that not until much later did all of the first 29 original code talkers actually got the Congressional Medal of Honor. And I think that's really interesting, because I think they all should have gotten it. It's one of those, like I said, the energy they had to deal with and work through day in and day out, where even the people that are supposed to be on your side are really not 100% on your side. The energy of it is amazing. So let's do a couple of angel cards and hopefully get a little bit deeper insight into some of these Navajo Code Talkers. Divine guidance. It's one of those, they had to be divinely guided to do all of this. They went through special training, they went through other things, but they were divinely guided to protect the United States and to stand up and fight for us as well. I think that's an important one. The next one I get is enchantment. They had to keep enchantment around them all the time, and kind of like this child's eye view of the world, because they had a mission. They had to keep everything else away and just be able to communicate to other people. Where are we moving to? What's going on? Are we being pushed back? Are we being moving forward? They had to communicate so many different ideas and information all the time. It's one of those, but you have to almost be in this bubble of energy of, we're not going to allow that to affect us. We have to do our job. And I think that's really amazing when you think about like bombs going off and gunfire, people yelling and screaming and all of that kind of stuff. And they were able to kind of keep that bubble of energy around themselves to do what they needed to do. Serenity. A lot of them were really at peace about helping the United States and kind of stepping up. A couple of the ones that, like I said, I've read books about, kind of felt like it was their duty to help the United States in some way. Some of Navajo people had already signed up and become soldiers, but only a few became the Navajo Code Talkers to kind of help communicate with other ones. And I will tell you that they really got a great opportunity to see the insides of energy of not only the United States who was around them, but the other countries as well. I think that's really interesting. Listening. Their job was to listen to each other, to communicate, to validate what things were happening. Anybody who was a communicator during that time frame had a lot to communicate, and you can see movies about that where they're trying to call and they're trying to get air support somewhere, or they're trying to do something, and that energy of that, trying to just being able to listen to each other through everything else that's going on, to be able to listen for that language and to understand it. And as far as I know, no one ever broke the Code Talkers code. I think that's so interesting, because some of the words, because they didn't have a word in our language or in their language to say what we were talking about in our language, they had to make up words or put words together that would bring up that energy of what they were trying to communicate to each other. So it's one of those, they also kind of learned their own slang for things. Abundance. I think they were blessed so much, and they blessed this country. To give us freedom is such an abundant thing to give to not only ourselves, but hopefully to their country as well, to the Navajo nation as well. But it's one of those, there were many different Indian tribes that went in through this, even though that they were called Navajo Code Talkers. A lot of them had different languages that they kind of pieced together to communicate what they needed to do, and they really brought a lot of abundance to our world and a lot of abundance to the United States ourselves. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that we'll be talking again soon.